Now we're going to create something called subjects. Um, these subjects allow us to organize the different classes that we have. For example, a subject might be my Mathematica, my math, or it might be things like economy or geography or science, chemistry. If a particular subject has a lot of areas to it, then what I might do is create one large subject and then have different subjects underneath that. For example, I might have chemistry, um, periodic elements. I might have chemistry, laboratory assignments, things like that. But for the most part, what we're going to be doing is creating a single subject which will correspond to a classroom theme, and we'll be assigning assignments to those subjects. So for here, in subjects, I've got a number of different subjects available here. You can see that there's an administration, there's the Education 365 teacher training, but I want to set up a subject for Mathematicus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Add a New Subject, and then what I'll do is I'll put in here Mathematica Secondaria 2015. This allows me to, Secondary 1, sorry, 2015. This allows me to set up a subdirectory that will be very easy to find in the OneDrive directory structure. If, for example, I am not accessing my assignments and things like that through the student dashboard or the teacher dashboard, and will allow me to see all of my assignments and according to subject in my OneDrive area. We'll talk more about this later. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save, and that creates the subject for me. Now, I already, in the previous video, set up a class, and that class was Prep 1 2015 Mathematica. Or sorry, it was Secondaria 1 2015. The class relates directly to the actual group of users, group of students that are going to be in your class. If you're in Primaria or Secondaria, then all the students take basically the same classes. So you can easily do this where you've got a single class set up with all the students in it, and you can use that class over and over again for different subjects for the assignments. Because really, the classes are just a group of users all combined together. It's like a group, but we call it a class in the teacher desktop. So what I'm going to do now, I've already got my Secondaria, 1st 2015. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up what's called an assignment. I go into here, I click on Add a New Assignment. You can see the assignments that are already here. First thing that I'm going to do is put in a title. Now, even though I'm going to be putting this under a particular subject in a moment, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I put in my title as, first of all, Secondaria 1 2015. And then the description. Okay. Now I'm limited to using 25 letters, so this might cause be a problem here. I'm just going to shorten this a bit. Okay. Now I'll select my subject, and I'm going to select what I just put in here. If this was for a different subject, for example, Mathematica for Secondaria, the second group of Secondaria students, which would be like our grade 6, then I would have selected that. I will then put some instructions here about the assignment. Okay, I put in a due date, year, I then use the marking format I want to use. Usually it'll be 0 to 100%. Okay, now here's where I select my classes. Here's my secondary class, so I'll select that. Now, I can also go ahead and add other people if I want to. Sometimes the classes that we have set up uh, don't include all users in a particular group, or we need to specify certain groups. For example, classes in Preparatoria, we might have students that take certain options. Not all the Preparatoria students will be enrolled in this exact same classes. In that case, what we want to do is we want to have it set up so that we have the ability to select users individually. And we would do that through here, and we wouldn't use the class name here. Down here, we can select a file that we want to add to this assignment. Now, this is where we use our classwork folder, which we'll be talking about in another video. And you can see here that at the moment I don't have a section set up for secondary students, but I could go to here, and this would have a list of different things that I can use. So I select what I want. I then click on the Add here. Now, at this point, I'm ready to save this. By the way, I don't need to select a file for the assignment. I can just send it off. I could even have a link up here in the instructions area if I wanted to. When I'm ready to save and send this as an email to all of my users, or as something that will show up as an assignment in their student desktop dashboard, then I would click Save and Send. If I want to just save this as a draft, if I don't want to send it out right away, then I would click Save as Draft. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and Send. Okay, and that will then send it out. And you'll notice here that what's happening is that all the students that were in the class that I selected for this assignment, it's telling me their status, telling it sent it. Now, one of the senders is a new person, someone that was just set up in the system. In fact, the person that we just set up. And we can't send them an assignment because, according to this, their OneDrive has not been activated. This is something that needs to be done for every student when they're a new student. At some point, we may come up with a process that will do it automatically for us. At this point, what has to happen is that every user needs to log in and go to their OneDrive. We'll be looking at that in a different video. Now, once it's in here, what you'll see is that it shows up here as not collected. Now, the student has some things that they do on their side, where they basically will receive this same assignment that was just sent out in their student dashboard, which looks very similar to this, but is specifically for the student. And what will happen is that they will open up their assignment, they will work on it, and then submit an assignment or a file or something like that. When those come in, when the due date comes, what we do is we click on Collect All. And then what that will do is it will go through and see if it can find files that it will collect. Now, if it can't, it'll say not found, as in this case, of course, the student hasn't actually submitted a file. But at this point, if they had, what we would be doing is we'd be going in individually, and we would be assessing, giving them a grade. Okay, save as complete. Do the same thing here. Now, if they had submitted a file, it would show up here, and I would click on it to look at it, but we're going to pretend that we've already done that. I'm going to give this person a slightly lower grade. Harder next time. Save as complete. Okay, now when I've finished assessing and I want to send the work back, then I can either do it clicking on here to return all that I've assessed, or I can do it individually and select what I want to send back. Okay, and you can see the status changes. I can do the same thing with this one. Return it, and again you see the status changing. This gives me a bird's eye view of everything that's happened. If I had some files that I assessed and sent back, then I could click on this right here, and it would actually show me their OneDrive and allow me to open them up. Now, at this point, though, I've completed everything that I can do about this particular assignment that I sent out. The only thing that would be left to do, if I wanted to, would be to export the grades that I had received um, into a spreadsheet or something like that. By clicking export, it creates down here a little spreadsheet for me. Um, that spreadsheet I can open up. And I'll just bring it in here, easier to see. And you can see that what it does is it brings in all the information. And I can manipulate this and do different things with it. At this point, we're not doing anything amazing with this, but it's coming. And that's basically the idea behind setting up these groups and users. And in this lesson, we've learned about setting up an assignment with the classes and subjects that you have.